We now present For the Record.
Just ahead, a chaotic week in the state legislature and a defiant message from the state's top elections official.
I feel that very, very strongly that I will not give in to political pressure.
Plus, Madison Police Chief blasting an accusation that his department is defunded. Welcome to For the Record. I'm Naomi Coles. Please stick around to the end of the show today for a special announcement. But first, let's get straight into the news of an incredibly busy week in the state legislature. Topping our headlines today, Republicans have voted to fire Wisconsin's top election official, Megan Wolf, coming off 3 years of controversy where the nonpartisan official has been the target for reams of false accusations of fraud and mismanagement. This because of the lie among former President Donald Trump's supporters that the election was stolen. Wisconsin's Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul is suing to keep Wolf in her position, and today I am joined by the woman of the hour herself. Ms. Wolf, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is not the first time since 2020 that you have held your position, refused to step down amid pretty intense pressure to do so. Does that remain your position today?
It does. I think as election officials, it's so important, if not one of the most important things, is that we remain above the political fray. And we continue to see increased political pressure on us for people that, will not bend to political pressure to step down and to be replaced with people that maybe will. And I think that now more than ever, as election officials, we have to stand strong. We can't give in to attempts to bully us, to harass us, to manufacture concerns about us. I think we cannot give into that. I think that would set such a dangerous precedent. And so I'm really glad to have this opportunity to go to a court to get clarity, because I will not get that clarity as part of the political process. That just wouldn't be appropriate for somebody in my position.
What will you do if the legislature appoints an interim to your position?
That will be up to the commission and to the courts to decide. One of the things I also, want to make clear is that I serve at the will of my 6-member bipartisan commission. So the commission is made up of 6 Republicans and 6 Democrats. Each of them have been appointed by their respective legislative leadership. I implement their directives. I do not have a vote on the commission. If the commission would like to remove me as administrator at any time, they can hold a meeting for that purpose. And with 4 votes of the commission, they'd be able to remove me and replace me with somebody else. And so, I take that obviously very seriously. And I think that's an important part of the process, is that the commission does have that ability. And I would absolutely respect any decision that was made by my governing body, being my 6 bipartisan commissioners.
All of this controversy is coming just over a year now before the 2024 presidential election. What impact does this have as you gear up prepping for that?
It is unfortunate that we are dealing with this at this particular juncture because we are in such an important point in the election cycle. So the election officially kicks off on December 1st of 2023. That's when nomination papers for our spring elections can first begin to be circulated. And so right now is when the state and our local election officials have to make many important preparations, be it training, be it fortifying our cybersecurity systems. All of those things are happening right now. And so I think the quicker that we can get clarity on the situation and move ahead in whichever direction the court determines is really important. It's really important that that happen quickly so that we can all get back to the important work ahead.
You've been in a lot of national headlines at this point in your career at leading, Wisconsin's election agency, particularly this week, particularly in the last 24 hours. Are you receiving threats? And when I say threats, from the public, hate mail, what has the backlash been?
Yeah, I appreciate that question, but no, I have not been seeing that today. And, I'm hopeful that people will remain in a place where they can, of course, disagree with me, they can not like me, they can have strong feelings about the process that is taking place, but that it doesn't rise to the level of a threat or even harassment. And so I hope that continues to be the case. I will say that we have fortified such strong partnerships and relationships with law enforcement locally, at the state, and at the federal level, that in the event that there is a situation we need to deal with, we will have the support that we need. That being said, I think that I'm hopeful that that will not be the case. And like I said, I actually think it's an important and healthy part of democracy, of working in government, that people be able to voice their concerns and express their opinions in a peaceful way.
How often in the last 3 years have you considered just giving in, stepping down, taking the pressure off of yourself?
I feel such a sense of responsibility, commitment to this position, and to making sure that we're able to continue to administer fair and accurate elections here in the state of Wisconsin. That is where my focus remains. I feel that very, very strongly that I will not give in to political pressure. I think that sets such a dangerous precedent. If I were to say this is too much, that the politics have gotten too difficult, that people are claiming things that are false about me or false about the election system, and I'm going to allow that to drive a decision I make or to make me step down, I think that would just be such a shame, and would set a really, really dangerous precedent. So my focus has been on my work, and my focus will remain on my work in supporting our incredible local election officials across the state of Wisconsin.
Always good to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And just ahead, a national conservative news headline mischaracterizes the city of Madison. Police Chief Sean Barnes has a message for them.
This portion of News 3 Now is sponsored by Madison Gas and Electric.
At Informed Choice Insurance Agency, we're proud of our 5-star reviews.
My agent Matthew explained everything about Medicare and the needed supplemental insurance. He took the time to show me several different plans and the plus and minuses of each policy.
Andrea was amazing, from her knowledge to her presentation to her skills in navigating complicated and intimidating waters. I cannot emphasize enough how much she helped me and my family.
Need help with your Medicare or Marketplace health plans? Get 5-star service at Informed Choice Insurance Agency.
This is Kathy. She's about to see her dentist. She's afraid. Not because of the drill, but because of the bill. A big bill. But Kathy doesn't need to be afraid, and neither do you, thanks to affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. It's easy to get this coverage. Don't believe me? Call or go online for all the details. You could even have this free information kit. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance. It helps pay for over 400 procedures. That's a lot. I'm talking cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures. Bottom line, you'll have help paying for routine care and expensive major work. But if you want deductibles, forget it. There aren't any. No annual maximum either. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. Stop fearing the big bill. Start saving at the dentist. Call now or go to sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
It's safe to say that a great day's work starts with a great night's sleep. So no matter what kind of job you have, Denver Mattress has the right mattress for you. So shop the extended Labor Day sale today, because the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Or get up to $700 off select adjustable mattress sets. Check out the Summit for only $299.99. Or save up to $300 on our Denver Mattress brand lineup. Plus 4 years no interest and free shipping. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
Welcome back. After a horrific rape in downtown Madison this month, Fox News ran a headline tying the incident to a defunded, quote-unquote, police department. I sat down with Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes to put it all in perspective.
Chief, always good to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Naomi.
I want to start with pretty dark news.
Sure.
It's been top of the headlines in the last couple of weeks. A really, really awful rape happening downtown of a UW student. I guess let's just start if you have any updates on that case or her condition before I have a couple questions for you after that.
Sure. I think the latest update is that we were able to secure a $1 million bond, which will keep a very, very dangerous person where he belongs, which is incarcerated. I think that additional piece of evidence came in after my press conference was that a DNA sample taken from our victim matches the suspect. So we feel very good about this case. And I think that our officers, detectives, and investigators did an excellent job working in collaboration with our community. We could not have done this without the community, without the city, without public space cameras, without a lot of diligent work being done to bring this person to justice. And I certainly hope he gets the justice that he deserves.
Now, this case has made national news just because of how awful it was. I still want to read you a headline that Fox News ran where they blame it on defunded police. So, quote, defunded Wisconsin police to increase patrols after young woman brutalized in college football town attack. Would you blame this kind of attack on, quote unquote, defunding Madison police?
I would not. I think that headline is certainly disrespectful to our survivor in this case. The only person, the only thing that is responsible for this horrific crime is Mr. Thompson. He did this, and he should be held accountable. As far as defund the police, I don't know what their definition of defund the police, but during my administration, in just 2.5 short years, we've added 14 police officers. We've added 3 non-commissioned essential employees, including our first non-commissioned assistant chief, Director Hunt, who's over our technology, reform, and innovation department. We've added a community engagement specialist that's helped us connect with some of our most vulnerable communities, and we've done an excellent job. We've added someone to work in our records section to help us process our records request. So if their definition of defunding the police is adding police officers, then maybe that defund definition fits, but I don't think it fits here in Madison.
Broadly speaking, that rhetoric is often linked, right? Obviously, the 2020 protest, where that was a bit of a rallying cry, has led in the last 3 years to that conversation being used in tandem with rising crime. And I don't think we can call, as horrific as this case was, I don't think it represents rising crime in Madison. Generally speaking, do you think it's right to tie those two things together?
I don't think it's right to tie those two things together unless there's some type of causal relationship. I have seen in some cities where people rushed to judgment and they significantly reduced the number of police, and certainly that has an effect on crime, but we have not seen that here in Madison. I think the rallying cry for defund the police was, can we just invest in the communities like you said you were going to do? I think that the protest that we saw after the murder of George Floyd was really in reaction to government and not just police. Police are the most visible form of government. We know that. But when someone walks past you in the street, you're going to get coffee, you don't know the person who said no to that pothole being fixed. You don't know the person who said no to your schools not being fully funded. But when we walk by, you see the uniform, you know what we're responsible for, and that became the rallying cry in 2020. But for people like myself, who were very close to people who were protesting, people like myself who was really asking the question, how did this happen? How do we prevent this from happening? It is very fair to say that de-investment in certain communities may have led to this disparate outcome, and I don't think that that was unreasonable. But we have not seen that here in Madison. I think under my administration, we have certainly added to the police department, but in specific ways. We don't just add officers to add officers. We add officers where they're going to best serve and connect with our community. It keeps the job safe, and it makes it easier for our police to do the job that they need to do.
We are not done yet with Chief Barnes. Just after the break, I am putting him on the spot about his recent bid to lead the Chicago Police Department. Whether he plans to stay in Madison, that's next.
You've got this. You didn't think your sister would take you up on the dog-sitting offer, but here you are. Barriers purchased. Doggy distractions, no expense spared. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So when you have to make a purchase, or 7, to prepare, you can be sure we're looking out for you, so you can look out for him. You've got this with Associated Bank.
What about this one? wire brush finish.
I love this style, and the price is amazing.
It's got 2 removable leads.
And the bench has storage. Honey, do you like this table?
It's yours if you like it.
She's thinking.
Sure.
Oh my Bob, she loves it!
She loves us.
Probably.
When you don't have to compromise on style, quality, or price, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Special report.
Spectrum brings us Spectrum One, where Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and unlimited mobile come together to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you are!
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and 1 free line of unlimited mobile with no contract. Call 1-833-743-4999.
The Coopers here just got Spectrum One. Why did you switch?
With Spectrum One, we get a super fast, reliable connection. Look, with Spectrum Internet, I can stream Spectrum News across all our devices.
And the advanced Wi-Fi has enhanced security and privacy features that automatically block online threats, keeping our family and devices safe and secure.
How reliable is Spectrum Mobile?
It's a super reliable service coast to coast.
And it includes nationwide 5G.
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and 1 free line of unlimited mobile with the fastest wireless speeds. Call 1-833-743-4999 or visit a Spectrum store today.
Welcome back. We are continuing our conversation with Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes. He was recently named one of 3 finalists for the Chicago Police Superintendent position. He ultimately lost that role to an internal candidate. I'm asking him now, what's next?
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you for a different set of headlines that you have regarding yourself. You were recently a finalist for the Chicago Superintendent, the very top police position in Chicago. I guess first, your reaction on not being selected for the superintendent?
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. I'm certainly honored to be considered a top finalist. There were, I was told, about 58 applicants, and being named one of the top 3 in the country is certainly an honor. I had an opportunity to share my thoughts on policing, which I can do any day of the week, as you know, and the mayor really liked the things that I had to say. He liked my plan, but in the end, he wanted a police chief that was a better fit for his agency, given being a new administration. So he chose an internal candidate, and I think he's going to do an excellent job, and I'm honored to have been considered.
What would you tell now the city that you still lead in terms of your future here?
Yeah, I would tell them, look at what I did during the process. Until the story broke that I was a semi-finalist, no one knew I was in the process. That's because I come to work every day. My approach is the same. I just learned from great leaders that say you have to do that extra 10% absolutely every single day to make yourself one of the top elite leaders, the top elite teams, players, what have you. And I have done that. And so there were people who were surprised and shocked because they didn't see any difference in the way I behaved, the way I performed, and that's what you're going to continue to see. We have a great system here in Madison. We've implemented stratified policing. Our commanding officers and officers are doing an excellent job implementing that. Our 5-year strategic plan is up and running. We're still getting grants and opportunities because of the things that we're able to articulate and how we are policing. And so that approach will not change. I feel really good about where we are right now as far as crime and the things that we're doing, and things will only get better here in Madison. So I'm very proud to be here.
Was that a one-off application, or are you continuing to search for other opportunities?
Well, the only other opportunity that I told someone that I would be interested in is like the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. They have one already, so I won't be going to Green Bay. So the Jets might, I watch Hard Knocks, so I was pulling for him, but you may be right. Until that time comes,
You've got the build.
I appreciate that. Until that time comes, I'm going to be right here in Madison doing great work. This is a great community. They have welcomed me into this community, welcomed my family, and I certainly appreciate that.
Chief, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for sitting down and talking about this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Naomi.
Just ahead, a special announcement about the future of For the Record. It's coming alongside a familiar face.
When our clean, shiny truck pulls up in front of your house, yes, everyone starts clapping because everyone is happy. And that's why they all start dancing. Woo!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Just where do you two think you're going without your safety gear?
You know how we feel about riding without your gear.
Well, it's so nice out.
We're only going for a short ride.
Maybe we should listen to them more often.
I told you so.
And be home on time for dinner!
It's here, Wisconsin's newest and most exclusive sports show. Wisconsin Huddle. It's more than just highlights. It's more than X's and O's. It's a dynamic 30-minute weekly special produced for the die-hard fans of Wisconsin athletics. Embark on an exclusive journey into the lives of some of UW's top athletes as we offer an inside look into their world. Watch Wisconsin Huddle Friday nights at 6:30. Brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Look, Mom, I found one. Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the two largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
When a bank helps you get and stay ahead, that's the BMO effect.
When our clean, shiny truck pulls up in front of your house, yes, everyone starts clapping because everyone is happy. And that's why they all start dancing. Woo!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
How do you open a segment to say goodbye? It is with a lot of mixed feelings that I tell you this is my last For the Record here at WISC TV. It's even harder to say that I'm leaving the Madison area, a city that has truly become home in so many ways for me and which I deeply love. The reason has to do with pushing forward with my career. I am joining the investigative team at the CBS affiliate in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're a group of people doing incredible work, and I'm incredibly excited to be a part of it. I don't know how to say goodbye myself, so I'm bringing back a person. He's had to do this before. You all know his face. Neil Heinen, former host of For the Record, former host for 33 years. I can't hold a candle with my 3.
Yeah, well, it's a nice round number. 33 and 3, that's close enough.
There we go. Yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, you had a good run here.
Thank you.
And it's a great new market. Should be exciting.
I am very excited. They're
hope you
doing
really
phenomenal
enjoyed.
work. Yeah.
But you took good care of this program, so thank you.
I have strong words coming from you. No higher compliment could I get from the guy who ran. I mean, you were on this show for 33 years. So we were just talking about this.
Yep.
In preparation for this segment, I went back and tried to find when did this program first go on air? Because, I mean, it's been such a long time, and we can't figure it out.
Yeah.
You came on in 1989. Is
89.
that correct?
I started here in 87, took over in 89. Prior to that, Naomi, I had been, a sort of a regular panelist on the show when Ted O'Connell was the host. And I actually followed that format for quite a while. Originally, it was 2 or 3 reporters, a host, and then a guest, and that's kind of the way it went. I kind of transitioned it to more of a one-on-one, or me doing the interviewing. So I was on the show in the mid-'80s, maybe even early '80s, but I don't know exactly when it started.
Yeah, and so I went back and watched your final segment, and you mentioned Ted O'Connell had done it for at least 5 years prior to 1989. So
Yep.
we know that this show has been on air now for just about 40 years.
Yep.
And we were talking about this. Only 3 permanent hosts
Isn't that amazing?
in that time,
Yeah.
of which 2 are sitting here. Ted O'Connell, I believe, has passed away.
He did. Yep.
So the only 2 surviving hosts here. What's that like? That's an incredible legacy.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of fill-in hosts, as
Sure,
you know. I
sure.
mean, you had them too. It's great. I mean, I think the consistency is important. I think you develop an ownership of the show and a real appreciation for the show. And we each bring a lot of our own ideas to what we think the content should be and how the show should operate.
Another question I wanted to ask you before we get there is, we're talking on Thursday morning.
Right.
3 massive news stories are breaking today.
Yep.
you know, abortion services are resuming in Wisconsin. That just broke literally 15 minutes before we came on air.
Yep.
And, you know, the state's poised to fire its top election official. I got to ask you, as also the longtime editorial director, it was your job to go on air every night and give an opinion on the news.
Yep.
Do you ever find yourself on days like this just craving to get back on air and say, hey, here's what to think about it?
You know, I very rarely crave to get back on air for a whole variety of reasons. I mean, retirement is great. I did that. There are aspects of the business that are so different from when I was in it, and that I wouldn't necessarily enjoy being in today. But by and large, Naomi, yes, I probably write an editorial every day. Whether it's when I'm walking the dog or, I mean, which is kind of typically what I did, you know, for 30 plus years. Editorials would sort of formulate throughout the day, and then I would add things to them before I finally sat down and wrote them in the afternoon and stood in front of the camera at 3 o'clock. Yeah, those instincts never go away. But I still think that For the Record in particular, and shows like it, are so valuable in terms of community service, community affairs. It's our connection to people who really value having an opportunity to tell their story, to educate people about what's going on. And that's what I love so much about the show. You know, I had, as you know, as you did, I mean, every governor, every UW president, senators on the show, but also people who would come on and just talk about community events and important issues. And in a lot of cases, we were really ahead of the game. I remember I was looking back at my notes, a show we did in 1989 on this new disease called AIDS, and we were just kind of wondering about this. And people really weren't sure what it was.
I cannot say how grateful I am to be given the chance to have taken care of this show for 3 years, nowhere near as long as your tenure, but being given that honor is incredible. I do want to mention, I don't have too much time left, but just talking about the future of the show. This is my last show. For the next couple months, we will have an interim host. That's going to be political reporter Will Keneally. He couldn't be with us today. He's at the Capitol covering all the craziness here on Thursday.
We should have passed the baton.
But again, we have a new news director. You saw him a few weeks ago on the show, and so he's looking at the show, evaluating what its future is going to be, and in the interim, Will Keneally is going to be taking care of it for us. Neil,
Good.
I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being part of the big trio of hosts of this show. You did great. Good luck in your new venture.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
To Madison and our viewers across southern Wisconsin, I can't thank you enough for tuning in week after week. I have been so incredibly grateful, as I said, to be trusted with this incredible show. I trust you'll be in good hands going forward. So for one last time, thank you for tuning in. I'm Naomi Coles. Enjoy your week.